So, welcome to this practice, and we are continuing our journey through the chakras. So, this week's the focus is on the sacral chakra, and we'll explore that more. If you would like to know more, just a reminder that I do have a newsletter. You can sign up at sarahrushyoga.com. Gives you a bit more background information about the themes of the classes that I teach each week and details of workshops I run, retreats, etc. So let's come to lie on our backs with our feet together and our knees wide. And we will take a mudra today. So mudras are hand placements that are said to affect the flow of energy in the body. And this is yoni mudra. So taking your thumbs together at your belly button, let the index fingers touch, probably around your pubic bone or thereabouts. So it's a little diamond really. And then just allow the hands to soften and settle over this area that we are focusing on today. Color is orange. You might even imagine an orange energy swirl beneath your hands. But for now, just let the mind rest. Taking a really full, deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, soften. So the sacral chakra is called Svadhisthana, and it's all about how we are creative, how we enjoy life, sensual pleasures, sweetness, and whether we are in flow. So previously we've looked at the root chakra, which is all about thriving. Now we're moving into surviving. So how do we enjoy life's pleasures, life's sweetness? When we're balanced here, we're open and resilient to what life throws at us. When we're out of balance, we might be a little bit rigid and stuck. Or we might have no boundaries at all. So just considering what's you're leaning into. And of course, it changes on a day-to-day basis. So that's what we're focusing on today, anatomically, hips and pelvis. But considering the element of water, how do we flow in our life? So let all that settle now as we come into the feeling body and take a really full, deep breath in through the nose. A long breath out. And let's start with that quality of water as we apply it to the breath, almost like the waves rolling in and out. Breathing in, let the wave roll in. And let the wave roll out. So we don't force the breath, we're not controlling the breath, we can never resist the breath. So just for 3 or 4 rounds now, let the breath breathe you. And then notice the thoughts flowing through you. John Kabat-Zinn said, you can never control the waves, but you can learn to surf. So notice your thoughts, but try not to hop aboard. And one more wave-like breath. You might be familiar with Ujjayi breath, breathing in back of the throat. Breathing out from the back of the throat, out back again through the nose. So depending on the time of day you're practicing, hips can be quite tender. So be gentle, can be very strong. Let's bring those knees in towards our chest now, taking the toes together and just press the knees away as you bring them back in again. So making little circles. So we think of our body as this dense mass, earthy, but actually we are 70% water. So we are naturally very fluid. Let's change the direction of those circles. And then take your left leg down and hold on to your right big toe with your peace fingers, the index finger and the middle finger, and almost like you're stirring. So it's like a half happy baby, or called stirrup pose. Just kind of stir your hip, explore how low the knee can get to the ground. Keep your left hand anchoring your left hip down. And maybe we begin to extend that right leg as long as it doesn't cause us to crick the neck or grit the teeth. Take a deep breath. And now flex your foot as you take the foot just below your left knee. So you're making a little triangle shape. This is called thread the needle. Just take a moment here with your right hand pressing the right knee away from you, because you might find that a strong enough stretch. Otherwise, see if you can lift up your left thigh and hold behind it with your hands, or maybe the left shin. So a sign that you're agitated might mean that you're shortening your neck. So keep your chin tucked and super slowly do those little circles again. Try not to be too quick, because then you miss all those little pockets of tension that you might be now exploring. And then change the direction of your circles. So this is, watch the instructions here. This can be quite confusing. Take your left foot down, wiggle your hip a little bit to the right, and then lean over to the left. So your right foot is now on the floor. And if you're tangled up in knots, that's normal. And maybe you hold the right foot with your left hand. So start to possibly press that right knee away from you as you rub the inner right hip. So this is called your IT band. It can get really sore. So just notice how yours feels and just really breathe to where you're rubbing your hand. So again, notice the breath. Is it still flowing? And then gently, gently come back. Undo the legs. And now let's go to a twist the other side. So we keep the right foot where it is and we just move over to the right. So the right foot is now resting on the left thigh bone. If that's too strong, just undo your legs. Take your arms into a T shape now and just breathe. So awareness is in the hips, the pelvis. Notice if you're tightening around there or hardening. Keep it all in flow. And then gently, let's come all the way back up. And then just take both of your feet flat to the ground now. Take a moment to land. Notice if you feel like you've got a little bit more space around the hip socket on the right. But we don't have to do much to make a change. Let's lift up the left leg now and hook onto the left big toe. So same thing, it's almost like we're stirring the left hip bone. So our hips are where a lot of our emotions can be stored. So notice again, notice everything that's flowing through you emotionally, the thoughts, the breath, and keep coming back to the present. Just extend that left leg now if that's comfortable for you. Take a breath. And then flex your left foot. So we're making a little triangle shape. So with your left hand, just guide that left knee away from you. Just take a moment to breathe. Possibly you make it stronger by bringing your hands through the gap. And remember, stronger isn't always better. So just again, just swaying. There is no hierarchy of poses. We just show up. We do our yoga. We see how we are that day. So again, the counterintuitive twist now. We're bringing the left foot to the right. Possibly we hold on to the left foot with the right hand. Move that left knee away from you and breathe. So I notice on this side, my body's so different to the other side. So perhaps you are too. One more breath. Let's slowly come up and change the side that our knee drops. So that left knee now drops over to the left. You might just again rub the outer right here with your right hand. Take the arms into a T and breathe. So when we're in flow with our sacral chakra that we call Svadhisthana, we feel creative. We're open. We're resilient. Just like water, we can flow. We can go with the flow. And slowly come up. Let's go into full happy baby now. So holding on to the big toes, knees out to the side, gently rocking side to side. And babies really enjoy their body, don't they? They don't kind of worry about how it looks or judge themselves. They just tap into that kind of beautiful, fresh energy that babies have. And from there, let's take the feet together. We're going to roll up and down the spine a few times. So if there's any back tenderness, you don't do this. And let's come up to a seat. Whoops. So staying with that flow now as we take our hands to the knees, let's grow tall in our spine and then just feel your hips and pelvis drop into the earth. Take a nice even breath now, breathing in through the nose. And watch that breath roll out. And let that be the pace for the rest of this practice. Let's start to circle down. So again, keeping it really fluid today as we tap into this water element. And you might add the head as well. It's called the Sufi grind. And then change the direction of your circles. Start really, really big and then spiral inwards till stillness. And if the mind's drifting, you might simply repeat an affirmation. I'm in flow. I'm open. See how that lands in the body. And then come to stillness. And as you come to stillness, notice everything that flows through you, because there's always something. Blood, the breath. We're never truly still. And breathe into this sweet moment now. And as you breathe out, let's come on to all fours. So still thinking about this area anatomically as we take our hands wide and start to circle. So the knees are a little wider than your hips today. Circle, shoulders over wrists, hips over heels. And again, you might add the movement of the head and the neck. Try not to be too rigid, really. It's just being flowy and watery. Change the direction of your circles. So a lot of traditional yoga is quite linear, kind of long holds. We're trying to just bring that element of water today. And now let's come into perhaps the more familiar cat and cow. As you inhale, lift the heart. As you exhale, tuck the chin and round. And you might be a little bit more wave-like today. So as you inhale, the heart rises. As you exhale, you sit back onto the heels. So just come into whatever poses help you get into your flow. We're all very individual and unique. And just for the final two, we're going to roll the arms as well. So it's almost as if you're doing front crawl. So as you sit back onto the heels, you swim the right arm forward, sit back onto the heels, swim the left arm forward. And then come back to all fours. So if you're ready, you might come into downward facing dog. If you prefer, you might stay on all fours. In your downward facing dog, just start to lift up your heels, drop them again. Lift up the heels, drop them again. So we're going to come back into some wave-like motion now. So pull your tummy in, lift up your hips, pull your tummy in and sort of roll your way forward into a plank. So it's not so kind of rigid. Bend the knees and then come back. So these are called Shakti rolls. Pull your tummy in, come forward. And if this feels too strong for your wrists, you stay with cat and cow. One more. All about the hips. And as you come into downward facing dog, now take a moment there to fully, deeply breathe. And exhale out all the breath. Breathe in now as you lift your right leg up towards the sky. Bend your right knee and lift your right inner thigh so the heel is above your left buttock. And you might be still or you might prefer to circle. So when we circle our joints, we're releasing lots of synovial fluid to keep our joints healthy. Slow, steady, strong. And then gaze forward as you take the right foot to the outside of the right hand. So make sure it might even be off your yoga mat here. Drop the left knee down now and keep with that sense of circling. Circling the hips. And now keep your left hand there. As you breathe in, sweep the right arm in front of you and behind you. And as you exhale, bring it forward. Right wrist just behind the left wrist. Inhale, open and circle. Again, the word be fluid. Exhale, right and wrist comes forward. This time, inhale, lift up and just keep it behind you. Spread your fingers, look back at your right thumb and breathe. Circle the right hand back. Back to downward facing dog, or all fours, of course. From here, let's ripple our way forward again. Lift up really high on the feet. Pull the tummy in. Drop onto the knees and roll down onto your tummy. And stay with our wave-like motion now as we come into rolling cobra. As we breathe in, we lift the heart. Exhale, we come back down again. And do a few of those kind of rippling up. Inhale, we lift. And exhale, we lower. 2 more. And then as we come down, we lift and press ourselves back into downward facing dog. And take a full deep breath in. Release everything before that breath. Watching the thoughts. Remember, we're just surfing them. We're not getting caught up in them. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, left knee bends. Again, be still or circle. Ankle or knee, just mobilize the joints. Keep pressing into the center of the right heel. Leg extends back as you inhale. Exhale, left foot comes forward to the outside of the left hand. And again, we drop the knee. So we're circling, just gathering intelligence really about our body. Eat with the flow. And then let's think about the arm again. So it's more of a half circle. As you inhale, the left arm comes up, it comes behind. You might drop the right hip a little bit more. Exhale, you swim it forward. Left wrist behind right wrist. Inhale, open, take it back. Keeping the shoulders mobilized. Exhale, forward. So again, we're keeping everything fluid. Final time. And this time, just stay a bit longer as you look back at your left thumb. Take a deep, deep breath. And let's come back. Downward facing dog. And in our downward facing dog, take a full breath in. And an exhale out. And then slowly, slowly, turn your right heel in, toes out. Like a little Charlie Chaplin foot. Then bring the left foot forward, turn the toes out, heel in. So we're sort of Charlie Chaplin walking to the front of the mat. Just notice how that affects your heels. And when you get to the front of the mat, keep the heels together and the toes out. And just come down into a little squat. So like a little frog. As you exhale, straighten the legs. As you inhale, come back again. Sorry, other way around. Exhale, you stand. Inhale, you lower. And that can be strong. So again, watch your knees. And the next time you're up, just parallel the feet now. And slowly, slowly ripple up to stand. Pull the tummy in. Roll the shoulders back. Pause at the top. Take your hands to your heart. And breathe into your whole body. And go back to the breath, watching that wave-like quality of breath. So breathing in. Breathing out. Just rolling in, rolling out. The ebbs and the flows, and we all know what those are like. So we're going to come into a sun salutation variation now. We're going to add a twist. So with your hands to your heart, inhale, arms raise up. Exhale, come to a fold. Breathe in, lengthen the spine. Step back with the left leg. Lift the left knee up and breathe in as you lift the right arm towards the sky. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, right arm comes over your ear and just lift up that right hip a little bit more. Hand comes down, right leg steps back, downward facing dog. Option to ripple through a vinyasa or to stay where you are. No bad choice. And when you come back to downward facing dog, find your breath. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, left foot between the hands. Breathing in, left arm rises for that twist. And then the arm comes up and over the ear, just slightly picking up that left waist. Take a breath. Hand comes down, back foot comes in to meet the front foot. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, arms come up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Second side, less instruction this time. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale to fold. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, right leg comes back. Breathing in, left arm lifts. Exhale, left arm over ear. And down, downward facing dog. Rippling through again. Always staying with the flow of breath. Pause in downward dog. Press your feet and hands into the earth. So still connecting to our roots. Inhale, right leg rises. Exhale, right foot between the hands. Inhale, right arm lifts. Exhale, right arm over ears, and just look towards the sky as you slightly turn your heart up. Hand comes down, left foot comes in. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale to fold. Soft bend in the knees. Breathing in as we rise up. Exhale, hands to heart. And take a moment there as we press the fingers together. Breathing into the whole body. So let's flow now, get a little bit more creative. And sometimes our flow means we fall, we lose our balance, but know that we get back up again, because that's what finding flow means. So we're going to stand on our right leg and lift up the left heel. Option 1 is to stay here. Option 2 is to take the pose we did earlier on the ground. So we flex the left foot and we come into a standing balance. So we might not go very far. We might keep our hands to prayer and be quite high up, or we might take our fingers to the floor. Take a moment to breathe, to feel into that outer left hip. Keep pressing into the sole of the right foot. So here's the transition. Gently come back up. Know that falling is fun. Lift up your left knee. Now we're going to come into a standing balance of warrior 3. So extend that left leg behind you. And you might take the fingers to the floor, water breaks. So just find your breath. And then we land in warrior 2 this time. So I'm going to face you. So warrior 2, the right foot is forward, the left heel is back. Yeah, warrior 2. Take a deep breath. But we're staying with the flow now. So inhale, straighten the legs, straighten the arms. Exhale, ground it down. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, we ground. One more time. So getting into a little bit more hip strength now. Can you interlace the palms behind you and roll the shoulders back? And then bring your head towards the right foot. And then just spin that right hip to the back of the room. Take a breath. So this really strengthens your hips. You might be feeling that. One more deep breath. Press into the feet, rise up. And release the arms out. More flow. Inhale, let's reverse our warrior as we come back. As we exhale, forearm to thigh, left arm comes over the ear. And this is the 2 shapes that we're flowing between now. So inhale, we come back. Let the movement last the whole breath. Exhale, we come forward. One more time. And as we come forward, that left arm comes up and over. Just start to rotate the heart and chest up as you reach into your left fingertips. And breathe. 2 more breaths. And then look down to the ground. We're going to come back to easy twist. Lift up the left heel. Lift up the right arm. This time, as we exhale, straighten your right leg and take the right wrist behind the left wrist. Inhale, back into easy twist with the arm behind. Inhale, straighten, right wrist behind left wrist. Inhale, straighten, right hand comes behind. One more. And this time, just pause as you look back at your right thumb. Take a deep, deep breath. And then take the hand down, coming back through your flow. So again, you might choose to skip this. You might rest in child's pose. Just stay with the flow of breath and all will be good. Coming back to downward facing dog. Take a moment to feel your feet, feel your hands, and deeply, deeply breathe. As you exhale, soft bend in the knees. You might be ready for a little hop to the front. If not, just walk. As you get there, stay with the wave-like movement. Inhale halfway. Exhale to fold. Do 2 more of those like waves. Then with a little bend in the knees, let's come all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands to heart. One hand to heart, one hand to tummy. And again, notice that subtle flow of energy through you. We're never completely still. We're always in flow, so just notice. So let's do all of that on side two. We're going to lift up the right heel. That might be where you stay. Or flex your right foot as you take it just above the left knee. And you might be quite tall in this, or you might come a little deeper. So hands staying at the heart, perhaps they come to the floor. Just keep breathing. And then slowly come up. Hands to heart. Transitioning now, and it's a tricky transition, into warrior three. I'm going to play with this in a minute. So kick back, pull the tummy in. Know that if you fall, you just get back up again. And we land. So the left heel, if you did a line, would be in line with the back arch of the foot. It's an asymmetrical pose, but we press evenly into the feet. Let the arms come out wide. Inhale, straighten leg, fingers touch. Exhale, ground the energy back down. Two more. Notice everything that takes you out of flow, that causes you to hold your breath and grit your teeth. And that's not just on your yoga mat. Pause there. Take a deep breath in. Just thought of my 13-year-old son there. Let's interlace our palms. Big deep breath in as you lift the heart. Exhale, give the crown of the head towards the front foot. And press into both feet. You're still in flow. Is there a good bend in that left knee? Notice that we try to avoid what we don't like. One more breath. And then we come back up again. Super strong hips there. Take the arms out wide. Once again, we're flowing between two familiar poses. Inhale, we come back. And exhale, forearm to thigh. Right arm comes up and over. Inhale, we come back. Exhale, forearm to thigh. Two more with your own breathing pattern. So finding your unique flow. And this time we stay as that forearm comes down, the right arm extends, and we turn the heart and chest up. Keep bending in the knee. It's a big hip stretch, this. And then lift yourselves up. We're coming back into the twist. So we pivot onto the back heel. We raise the arms. Then we take the right hand down. Inhale, left arm lifts. So it's a straightening of the left leg as the left wrist comes behind the right wrist. Then we inhale and we unravel our wing. So do that 3 more times with your breath. And this time, pause in the twist. Take a huge breath in. And take the left hand down. We're all going to meet in child's pose. You might wish to do one more flow before you get there. So breathe in, ripple your way forward, lower to the earth. Breathe your way up. And drop into child's pose. The knees are wide, the forehead's down. And rest your hands back into that yoni mudra, the thumb touching, the index finger touching. And once again, drop into stillness. So finding your rhythm again, you might have lost the flow of breath. And just become still. And Lao Tzu said, can you wait? Do you have the patience for the mud to settle till the water is clear? So as you notice, as you come into child's pose, is there a sense of a lot of movement in the mind? Can you come back to the breath, allow that to settle? When we look at the surface of a river, sometimes there's kind of dirty debris, stagnant things on top. But once we get underneath that, we have this lovely, clear, beautiful water that sometimes that's like our mind. So just allow everything on the surface to be, but see if you can just drop into a quieter, deeper space. And take 3 rounds of wave-like breath. Just focus on the breath. And perhaps there's a little sigh that you need to make. What will help you just to come back to this moment now? So we have one more round of poses to do. We're going to become a little bit more intense now, and then we're going to come into nice, blissful, longer holds. So let's slowly make our way into downward facing dog, unless you realize now that you'd rather stay here forever, in which case that's you finding your flow. So really honor how you are today. So back into downward facing dog. Press the hands away, press the heels away. Take a breath. Lift up the heels, gaze forward. And again, you might do a little hop. Inhale for that back. Exhale to fold. Do that 2 more times. Really let the breath be like a sandwich either side of the movement. And slowly, slowly, let's roll up again. Exhale, hands to heart. So what we are doing now, again, is a challenge. So be really open to having fun. A quote I use all the time is from George Bernard Shaw. I've just forgotten it now. What is it? Yeah, we don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. So play with this shape. So we're going to do the same thing we just did. As we inhale, we lift up the left knee. As we exhale, we come into the standing balance. We're going to come out of it then and back into warrior 3. So inhale, we lift the left knee. Exhale, we come into the balance. So we're going to come in and out of those 2 poses. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sit down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, extend back. One more of each. And if your breath is around about the same as mine, we're in warrior 3 now. Can we stay there? Take a huge breath. And one more. And let's land once again in warrior 2. Inhale, arms out wide. So earlier pose we did. Inhale, let's come back to reverse warrior. Exhale, maybe there's a half moon. So right fingers come to the ground as the left finger lifts. But stay with the pattern. As you breathe in, we land and we come back to reverse warrior. So let yourself fall, it's fun. All the way back up again to half moon. Inhale back, reverse the warrior. And this time we'll stay in half moon, which is a really big hip opener. So fingers are down, left fingers lift. You might look up at your left hand. You might stay looking down today. 3 deep breaths. And finding our flow is recovering when we do go off balance. It's becoming resilient. That's what living in flow is like. It doesn't mean that we're always happy, high-fiving everyone. Slowly, slowly, let's land. Take the feet parallel and come to a forward fold. Let the head hang heavy. You might naturally want to sway the hips side to side. You might decide you need to be still right now. Just tapping into what is the energy that will help you flow the most. And then everyone come to stillness, feet parallel. Let the head hang towards the ground. And just let it all go. About 2 breaths. Make sure the weight's in your heels as much as the toes. And then really slowly come up, hands to hips. All the way up. Just stand. And close your eyes. Often now you really get a good sense of flow, the energy settling. Just breathe into that. And then let's turn to the front of the mat and take another vinyasa if you wish. We've got 1 more to go after this. You're probably very aware of your hips right now. Aren't they wonderful? Let's take a moment there, take a breath. Lift the heels up. Step or hop towards the front of the mat. Breathing in, flat back. Exhale, we fold. Breathing in, flat back. Exhale, we fold. Soft bend in the knees. Inhale, all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands to heart. Final sigh, but again, take a moment to drop into stillness, just to remind yourself that we're never still. What's flowing through you right now? Is it good stuff? Or is it mean, judgy, critical stuff? Just notice. Or is it a list of to-do stuff? Where do you always go? Just notice that. What takes you out of your flow, natural flow-like state? So second side, breathing in, right knee rises. Exhale, flex the foot and sink. Inhale, right knee rises. Warrior three. Inhale, right knee rises. Exhale, standing pigeon. Inhale, right knee rises. Exhale, warrior three. And do grab a sofa if that makes this easier. Final time. This time we linger in the balance. Extend that right leg back. Spread your toes and breathe, breathe, breathe. That wave-like breath. And we land in warrior two. Sometimes we're graceful, some days we're like an elephant and all is good. Feel your feet, take a breath in. So flowing between reverse warrior and half moon. Inhale, left arm lift. Exhale, and you can always stick with the pose we did earlier if you don't wish to balance. So keeping forearm on thigh. Coming down as we land. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, we come back down again. Inhale into the pose. Exhale, we land. Inhale our way back. This time staying in half. It's always good to have a brick under your left hand. If you've got access to a book or something, lift up the right hand. Maybe today's the day you look at your right thumb. Maybe it isn't. Find that expansive breath again. Two more breaths. And gently we land, gracefully maybe, hands to hips, inhale. Once again, let's come to that fold. And shake out the head now. We're really starting to slow it down. Soften the shoulders, soften the face. And now you decide what will bring you into a flow state. Is it movement or is it grounding yourself into stillness? Two more breaths. Notice where the mind is flowing off to. A little bend in the knees, slowly unraveling. Shoulders are back. Take a moment to really land in your feet and breathe. And then facing the front of the mat, we'll take our final vinyasa together now today. So hands are down, we step back. We're all eventually going to end up on our stomach. And let's come down. And just take a moment here, making a little pillow with your head, with your hands. And breathe. So series of back bends. Back bends do get easier as we warm up the spine. We're going to start with our hands behind us, flat. Keep your hands down. This is going to strengthen your waist muscles. Press into the hands as you lift the heart. See how that feels. You might lift up your feet. Keep the hands down for this first one and keep pressing there as you breathe. So in some poses, we lose that kind of flow-like breath. Notice if this is one of them. It certainly is for me. 3 more breaths if you can. Keep spreading and pressing into the toes. And slowly come down. Hands onto the hands under the forehead. Shake out your booty. Loosening up the waist. So check in with your back. We're all different. That might have been enough. Otherwise, you might interlace the palms behind you, coming into locust this time. So we interlace the palms, we lift up the knuckles, And we lift up the heart. So adding a little stretch for the shoulders. Remember, back bends are about a long spine, not necessarily a great big lift. So keep pressing into the toes as the breastbone comes forward. And again, a few breaths. And let's come out. Remember, you can always be a lot longer than me. I'm a little bit lazy in a back bend, so shake out the hips. Our final back bend today is you might repeat the one we've just done, or you reach back and hold onto your feet. So remember, there's no better back bend. Find the one that really serves you today. And if you're doing this one, you hold onto your ankles, and as you breathe in, you press the feet into your hands. Everything else just happens. Make sure your knees aren't too wide apart. And some people can rock up and down on their tummy there, so just see how that feels. Two more breaths. Is it still like the wave? And then come down. Once again, hands under forehead, shake out the hips. Breathe. And then we're going to make our way up and come to a seat with your toes and feet together in front of you. So making a little diamond shape. So holding onto your ankles, just flutter butterfly wings there. So known as butterfly. And there's a quote from Mère Angelou about we all enjoy the beauty of the butterfly, but we don't always think about its transformation and what it took to get there. So again, all about this creative energy. We might be transforming as we speak. So coming into a little bit of a fold now, tuck the chin, breathe into the back. Three more deep breaths. And then slowly come up and just tap into your creative energy now. That means we're not afraid of making a mess. We don't have to be perfect. Let's hook our peace fingers again around the big toes and see if you can lift up your legs. So the worst that happens is you fall on your back. So take a huge breath in, lift up the heart. That can just be really good fun. Let's see if we can do it again. Slowly keep the fingers where they are. Bring the toes together, bring the heels down, come to fold. And then open up, transform into a butterfly. Take a deep breath. And if you're judging yourself, just notice that, because that is definitely something that blocks our creativity. That mean inner critic. Let's take the feet together, slowly come down and extend the legs in front of you and just give them a little shake. So we're really starting to bring it down now. We're going to come all the way back onto the ground and bring those knees in towards the chest. Like we did earlier, can we just start to circle? And then circle in the opposite direction. So we are going to come into a opposite hip rotation now. We've done so much hip opening. Can you bring your knees together and feet wide? And just feet are much, much wider, probably as wide as your yoga mat. And just give your outer hips a little rub. So we did this twist earlier. We're just going to do it a bit longer now. Come onto the hard edges of the feet and bring your knees out to the right. And then lift up your nose and wiggle your left foot back so your left knee is in line with your nose. Drop the head there. Now this is possibly strong enough, so see how your hips feel. Or you might lift up your right foot and place it onto the left thigh bone. Extend the arms overhead, hold on to your left wrist and just feel like you're gently lengthening the left side of your body. Soften the neck, the shoulders, and drop into stillness now as you take 10 breaths. Really full breaths, like waves rolling into one another next.
And as we get to the end of the practice, maybe you're adding a little pause between your inhale and exhale and inhale. And the world record for one of these pauses is 13 minutes. So don't be afraid to explore how long you can comfortably retain the breath in or hold it out. 6 more rounds of breath. And when we release tension from the hips, we can feel a bit fidgety. So just notice all those things. Now keep your legs in this formation as you can as you come back. So we've been here before. We're in the supine pigeon. Option now again to bring your arms through to draw the left thigh in, or this time close the gap between your legs. So I'll do it upright so you can see. So we're doing this. Now, not comfortable for everyone, known as supine gomukhasana. So draw those knees in, maybe pull your feet apart, almost like you're on a Harley Davidson. So a big beard and leather jacket is optional. Let's just sway a little bit side to side. For some of us, that is too strong a stretch, so just be careful. And release. Just take a moment there in stillness. Undo the feet. Again, notice if there feels like there's more space around the right hip than there is the left. And let's explore that on the other side. So our feet are wide as the mat. The feet knock in, knees knock in, sorry. Take a deep breath. Always watch your back with this one. Lean legs over to the left and lift up to make sure your right knee is in line with the nose. So I think for this side, I don't need to stack my left foot on top of the thigh because this feels quite strong. But you might choose to put the left foot on the right thigh. Then get your right wrist as if you're stretching your right side a little bit more, but then make sure your neck and shoulders are soft. And over time, that right knee might just drop a little further towards the ground. 10 breaths. Notice where your mind is flowing off to. Tends to be the same places. Planning, going over things, drifting off in a daydream. Come back to this breath. And Tara Brach uses this lovely metaphor. Where can you melt like ice to water? So just notice which parts of the body are tight and icy. Where can you soften using that breath? And water is soft, but it wears away stone. So there's a real strength in softening. So let's bring those legs into that familiar old pattern again. We've done this so many times today. Left foot flexed, just below the right knee, or possibly now you cross thigh over thigh. Draw everything into you. Just feel where you feel this the most and dissolve that space into that space with your breath. And release. Undo the feet, flatten them down. And now just bring up the knees, bring up the arms, bring them to the sky and just circle ankles and wrists. And go a little bit more creative. So you might kind of do more wafty movement, almost like a frog on his back or her back. And then change the direction of your circles. And when we find our flow, we're able to change our direction. We cope with whatever comes our way. And then lift up the hands, lift up the feet, and shake them all out. Any last little bits of stuck energy. And then slowly come into your relaxation. And again, after the shaking, we might be still, but actually we might be more aware of everything that's flowing. You might want to come back to Yoni Mudra, taking thumbs together, index finger together, lightly tuck the chin. And now drop into stillness. Once again, finding that wave-like quality of breath. So this concludes our practice for Svadhisthana chakra. The colour of this chakra is orange. Perhaps visualizing your breath as an orange light or energy, filling you up from the inside out. And finishing with a quote from Margaret Atwood: "Water does not resist, water flows. When you plunge your hand into it, all you feel is a caress. Water is not a solid wall. It will not stop you. But water always goes to where it wants to go, and nothing in the end can stand against it. Water is patient. Dripping water wears away a stone. Remember that, my child. Remember you are half water. If you can't go through an obstacle, go around it. Water does." Just allow your body now, like ice to water, to let go of any last little bits of tension. And take a really full, deep breath in through the nose. Pause at the top of the breath. And like a wave, let that breath roll back out again. Pause at the end of the breath. And like a wave, let the breath roll back in. And just like the waves, learn how to surf those thoughts. They're there, we're aware of them, but we're just staying above them. Breathing in and breathing out. And visualize the water trickling down from the scalp, softening around the temples and the corner of your eyes. Let your eyes roll back into their watery sockets. And notice the breath coming in through your nose. As you breathe out, relax and release the jaw. Do a little swallow. Notice the water at the back of the throat. And like a wave, watch the belly rise, the ribs expand, the shoulders open up, and as you exhale, just wash away. Let the arms be heavy, the fingertips. Feel the weight of your pelvis and your hips, just surrendering to the earth. And just check that your pelvis is level and stable. Maybe there's a little wiggle there if not. Let this watery orange energy wash down into the thighs, the knees, the calves, the feet. Feel the weight of your legs just resting on the earth. With the whole body now in this fluid state, let your awareness rest in the space between your eyebrows. Say to yourself 3 times, "I'm in creative flow." And just take rest now, just for a minute or so more, watching your breath, considering where can you melt from ice to water.
And just start to notice now everything around you in the flow of life. There might be sound in your living space. You might hear sound outside, maybe there's birds singing. And then just take micro movements back to your joints, fluid movements, spreading the toes, circling, ankles, wrists. And through these ancient practices, we can find our flow again sometimes. We all get stuck. And generally, we just need to connect back to ourselves, taking a few more deep breaths. And just come to a comfortable seated position. You might have cross-legged, or you might just want to lie down a bit longer. That's okay too, no one can see. And as we come to a comfortable seat, let's take our hands to our heart now, this gesture of reverence, of gratitude. And one more time, breathe in, let's sweep our arms up overhead. Exhale, hands come to our center. May the rest of your day be in flow. Namaste.